The Vigilant Church of God presents Michael H. Venish, bringing you the Church of God today and you. And now, Michael H. Venish.
Greetings, friends and brethren around the world. Do you recognize this place? Do you recognize it? This was the campus of Ambassador College and the headquarters of the Worldwide Church of God in Pasadena, California. The greatest and the most dynamic religious work of the 20th century was completed from this campus. The church's principal publication, The Plain Truth magazine, was published in 7 languages. And at its height in the 1980s, The Plain Truth had a monthly circulation of over 8 million subscribers. It also published the Good News magazine, which was sent mainly to members and co-workers. The Worldwide Church of God produced many books and many booklets. It also produced a Bible correspondence course. And these tools were used to teach the restored doctrines that were revealed to Mr. Armstrong in the Bible. The true gospel of the coming kingdom of God and the message about the hope of salvation for all mankind was broadcast worldwide through the World Tomorrow television program from this campus. When the Pastor General of the church, Herbert W Armstrong, died in 1986, the Church of God had over 150,000 members worldwide, thousands of co-workers, and millions of subscribers to its publications. It was truly a worldwide work. Within a couple of years after the death of Mr. Armstrong in 1986, a dramatic change came over the Worldwide Church of God. It soon began to disintegrate, and all the biblical truths that were restored were repudiated by its new leaders. And these doctrines were replaced with the spurious doctrines that the members had originally fled from. By the early 1990s, the church split into hundreds of different church groups, all of various sizes, all claiming to be a church of God. And what do we see today? Some of these groups are led by lay members, some by deacons, and some by local church elders. Certain groups vote their leader into office. And then there are those who are led by men who claim to be either a prophet or an apostle, or maybe even both those offices. There are all types of church governments in these churches of God, or a lack of church government. There are some leaders who make the bold claim that their church is the true church that Jesus Christ is building. Today, we have 2 notable churches who have built headquarters facilities closely resembling the Ambassador College campus that we see here in this photograph. And both of these huge costly building programs are funded by their members. One leader says that they are raising the ruins of the Worldwide Church of God. The other one is following what he claims to be the grand pattern that Mr. Herbert Armstrong was supposed to have established during his leadership of the Worldwide Church of God. And of course, we know from Mr. Armstrong's own words that he never ever mentioned a grand pattern. Mr. Armstrong actually mentioned that when he died, the work which he was called to do, that very work he was called to do, would be done. It would be over. No one would follow him. And there would be no follow-up work after the same type. Notice what he said.
God has kept me alive so far because I have not yet completed what God wanted me to do. And when I die, I will have completed what God wanted me to do. And there are those who believe that God has not never let anyone die until whatever God set for him to do as a commission has been fulfilled. Well, I guess that is true, that it has never happened in any case that we read of in the Bible. And I don't believe that God is through with me yet. But if I die, you'll know that he was. And that'll mean that the work has been finished.
In many of these churches of God whose leaders make an idol of Mr. Armstrong, they forbid their members from fellowshipping with those of the same faith. Even those from the same family, brother and sister, mother and father, they can't meet. They are all banned from associating with brethren they originally went to church with, brethren they fellowshipped with, people with whom they shared a meal, had a good laugh together, cried together. Their children grew up together, probably attended summer camps together. And now what do we see, brethren and friends? What do we see in the church? We see prejudice, hostility and animosity. Yes, hate. Members of the same faith hate each other. We see disrespect and a loss of civility among those who were once friends and brethren and family. These people who were supposed to be the family of God, who all believed the same doctrines. But why the shocking division in what was once a close-knit church? Notice what Jesus Christ said in Matthew 24 verses 11 and 12. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. What Christ is saying is that evil will spread in the church because of false teachers. Teachers who are ignorant of how God's government functions, how the ministry and members should relate to one another. They, both ministry and members, actually show contempt towards Jesus Christ by placing a human being in his place. A man becomes the idol and Jesus Christ is shut out. This once beautiful campus that served as the headquarters of God's work worldwide is no more. It's gone. That auditorium, which was dedicated to the great God, was bought by a Pentecostal church for their Sunday worship. Many of the buildings were torn down to make way for modern condominiums. The work of God was knocked down, closed. The work of God, known as the Philadelphia era, stopped. The open door was shut. And what do we see today? We see Christ standing outside of each individual Christian's door, knocking. Notice Revelation 3:20. Behold, or listen, I stand at the door and knock. If any man will hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. Remember how you once believed that my voice was being preached to you, Jesus Christ is saying? Remember how you once believed I, Jesus Christ, was the head of the church and under my direction was a governmental structure in the church? Remember that? That's what Jesus Christ was telling you, not me. But now, because of the false teachers, the door to Jesus Christ's knock is being kept closed. Therefore, without his guidance, they turn inwardly and become exclusive. I have my own voice. I can listen to whom I choose. It becomes my group and my church. Selfishness is the attitude, and then many stop loving each other. Jesus Christ, my dear friends and brethren, desires a personal relationship with you. And he said through the Apostle Paul, work out your own salvation with fear and with trembling. Jesus Christ says, come and eat my words. Jesus Christ is saying, come and tremble at my words. Notice what he said through the prophet Isaiah. Thus says the Eternal, the heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that you build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? Where is the open door to me? Jesus Christ is saying. But to this man, Jesus says, to this individual will I look. Will I respect, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembles at my word. Are you willing to tremble at Jesus Christ's words? Are you hooked on a man, or are you hooked on Jesus Christ? We are told by the Apostle Peter that for this time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel of God? Peter said, if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? We will continue with this subject in the next video. Go to vigilantcog.org and download the article, What Kind of Faith is Required for Salvation? That is vigilantcog.org. This is Michael Venish saying, until next time, goodbye, friends.
For further information on our ministry, please visit our website at vigilantcog.org or contact us via email at mv@vigilantcog.org.